Hi, my name is Becky Rose Dungeon Girl, and I haven't released a new video for a while. And that's not because I forgot about you or don't love you. I do, I love all my subscribers. But I've been ill with one thing after another. Seriously. I had one thing pretty bad, in a bad way, got over it straight away, big bad cold. Sneezed so hard, I broke my nose. That's what I currently got going on. I broke my nose. And now, because I have to wear my glasses all day for work, glasses rest on the broken nose, by the end of the day I have a terrible headache, and just one thing after another. You probably can't see it, it's very slightly swollen, but oh, it hurts like hell when I move it. Anyway, I have just finished filming the first half of the next series of Becky Ruins videos. And so what you're going to see is, for the next few weeks, I'm going to hold on to this because I'm terrible for this. Usually if I film like 5 videos at once, I'll release them all that day or something, because just like I can't hold on to them. I'm going to try and do that this time, because I don't think it helps either you, the viewer, or me as a broadcaster to release 5 videos at once and then nothing for 2 months. So you're going to see me every Monday for the next few weeks at least, wearing the same clothes. That's because I never change. No, they're all in the bag, filmed them all tonight. The second half of the series is still to film, but they're coming, I'll get to it. I'm sorry for not putting videos out over the last few weeks, but frankly, I was too ill. You're too demanding, give me a break. So if you're new to my channel, and I know a lot of people have been subscribing in the last few weeks when I haven't had new content out, so fantastic. You know, I can shut up and get new subscribers. Maybe I shouldn't be talking right now. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for being a member of my little dungeoneering community thing here on YouTube. My channel is focused on improving your game, whether that's as a player or as a GM. And since the beginning, it's always been about D&D. I started off, originally the content was designed to work with both 1st edition and 5th edition, because I do play a lot of Osric, or did play a lot of Osric. But then once I got into 5th, I kind of just didn't look back to Osric again, which is a shame. I mean, I know that the guy who wrote it, Stuart Marshall, or edited it, to be fair to say, has been working on an expansion for a number of years, and one day he swears he'll finish it. But yeah, I mean, I've been playing 5th edition, you know, pretty solidly for a while now. But I've also been playing other games. I just haven't done videos about them on my channel. I'm a big fan of Corporation by, is it Brutal Games? I forget, James, is it Norbert or something wrote it? I can't remember. You know, I've been buying up all the books as they come out in hardback, because I hate rule books in any other format. Got a RPG, but needs to be a hardback. It has to be proper hefty, so that when you're on an airplane and you go through customs and customs says, well, what's your reason for visiting? And you go, gaming, bitch, stand aside! Yeah, the hefty, but I like hefty role-playing books. I don't like that book. That book, hefty. Out of my way, official! I am here to slay your orcs. Which would probably get me arrested if I said that at Schiphol. Schiphol. That's a really hard airport name to say, isn't it? Schiphol. Dutch. Anyway, I do play other games, and I think I've pretty much said most things about D&D that I can. I obviously have a few more videos coming that are going to cover some other angles, and I could start doing the whole Lindy Page thing and start talking about equipment from my reenactment experience and stuff. But the thing is, he's still a reenactor. Yeah, she has the equipment to show. I've just got some stuff that I didn't give away when I left. This was too nice to give away when I quit. But I gave my helmet. I gave you know, most of my stuff away, and even my spears I just got my sword, my short sword, my sword, and my shield. So, hello kitty, you can maybe hear a cat meowing. Hey kitty, can I come on camera? Come on, come on, come on camera, come on. It's alright kitty, why are you being all scared and skittish? What's wrong? Come on. So, yes, I'd like to do content for other games on my channel. It's time to break out of the D&D box and look at some other stuff. Because I do play these other games, I just don't do videos about them. And sure, a lot of my videos are generic and apply to everything, but most of the time I frame it in a D&D context. And whilst that will continue to be something that I do for ease of explaining something, I think I'd like to get into the grit and the other stuff. I'm going to start doing more sci-fi stuff as well, I think, because I do like Corporation. I might even run a game of Corporation on my channel at some point. The only time I've ever run Corporation so far was a total disaster. But I think I got more of a handle on it now. We'll see how that goes. What on earth is that noise? It's apparently my dishwasher blowing up. And of course, I've mentioned in a few videos now that I'm working on my own role-playing game. I haven't been giving many details out about it. Maybe now, at the end of this video, is a time where I can just talk a little bit about that game. I'm not going to talk so much about the game itself yet. I want to keep that under wraps for now. I want to talk about some of the reasons why I wrote it. D&D is an interesting fantasy game, but it is mostly combat focused. And despite being combat focused, it doesn't make very good combat. If you've any experience at all with a sword or a spear, the D&D combat is this oversimplified system that is actually can still be quite complicated. Particularly if you play D&D 5th without miniatures and you're dealing with ranges, the amount of times I've had discussions of, right, so they're 200 feet away this turn, I've moved 30 feet closer last turn, but they moved 35 foot, so we're now, oh hang on, how far was I away to begin with? D&D is not that great in many ways, and some of its concepts about combat are really quite flawed. I'm going to touch on one of them in my next video. Becky ruined shields is just like, where is it coming from? Right, kitty. One of the things that's always driven me crazy about D&D is the opportunity attack. Everybody rushes in and then stands still whilst they fight each other because they don't want to generate an opportunity attack. And every battle I ever did in reenactment, every fight I've ever been in real life, and I've sadly had a few, has involved lots of movement, and particularly when one side outnumbers the other, and particularly when it's small numbers of people involved. So, why in D&D does everyone stand still? And you've got, of course, that old thing in the older editions where you get the flanking bonus, and you have what what's his name, Noah Ampilo called it the conga line of death, where you get the player, you get the monster, and you get the next player trying to get the flanking bonus, and then you get the monster behind them trying to get the flanking bonus, and you're at the conga line of death. And it is true that the D&D combat mechanics just create this surreal thing. So you try and get around that with an interesting environment, with good narrative and stuff, but yeah, it's a strange game in that sense. And despite all of that, there really isn't much in here that isn't combat related. There's, obviously a few things, but the game, the skills of the characters you level up, it's all about what you do in combat. And okay, you get a few spells that aren't combat related, that role-playing spells and what have you, but they're few and far between, really. So I wanted to create a game where the combat was at least makes sense to me as somebody who's seen some combat with these types of weapons as a reenactor. I'll do laugh when they bring in metal weapons and start fighting properly instead of those ridiculous weird foam weapons. I'm sorry, it's just... I see LARPing with those foam weapons, it's like, what? What is that? No, I can't look, So I've created a role-playing game where the combat makes much more sense, but I wanted a game which was more than combat. You know, the focus of your advancement wasn't necessarily driven around the combat. You know, I mean, one of my favourite role-playing games is Call of Cthulhu. I haven't played the latest editions at all, but there's barely any combat. You know, I mean, if you do combat, then, well, if you do it against a Cthulhu mythos monster, you're dead. You know, the point of your skills in Cthulhu is, I mean, one of your skills is your credit rating, your financial credit rating. The more points you put into it, the richer you are. You know, that kind of, I haven't used that in my game, but that whole concept of bringing skills back into your character development is something I really miss in 5th edition. I hate the fact that, yeah, right, you're proficient in that skill. It doesn't really change it, so I think the bard at 3rd level gets expertise or something, but other than that, the only way you can gain skills is to multi-class, and the way you gain the skill is to become proficient in it, and that bonus just occasionally increases. Otherwise, the only way you can really improve a skill is to improve a stat that the skill is based on. That's odd. They've just removed that whole side of roleplay, and I want it back. I want to develop my character again, my character skills. So yeah, I brought that back. And the other thing that, I mean, one of the fantastic things about D&D was the backgrounds. But there were only, 13 of them in this book. There's a couple of extra ones in here, but the interesting part of the backgrounds is, of course, the characterization traits, the flaws, the ideals and stuff. And this book mostly says, oh, use the soldier background in the player's handbook to generate these things. You know, it's half-hearted, half-assed effort, really. I don't recommend that book. So I wanted to do more with the backgrounds, a lot more. Because I think the background is really who the character is. You know, and I've role-played with so many characters where I couldn't tell you what their backstory is. And I'm sure some of them had them, but never used them, and I'm sure others, people just didn't bother creating them. One of the things my game does is it doesn't give you a backstory adventure, but it tells you who that character was. As you come out of the character creation, you get a good sense of what this person is, you know, who are they, and you kind of get that delivered to you as part of character creation. And it doesn't, you don't need to add anything yourself to you know, say, I'm a flame mage and I burned down my village. There's none of that. You can decorate your backstory and come up with a bit more, but what I wanted to do was to create a character. You know, it's somebody who is believable within that game world. There's no fighter, there's no cleric, there's no paladin. I wanted to do away with all that rubbish and focus on who the people are, who they are really. I haven't done any characterization as part of the background. There's no ideals, flaws, bonds and stuff like that. There are friends, you can get friends and you get family, so I suppose they are your bonds, I guess, and you can end up with a lot more of them than you do in D&D, where you have a bond and everybody has one bond. No, I took a very different approach to it. And one of the things you can do with it is completely randomly generate a character, even so much as what race they are can all be randomly generated, or you can choose some of that stuff. Like the GM can say, we're starting in this part of the world, let's create characters from this part of the world, and the system will handle it and give you characters that are relevant to that part of the world. Because I don't know about you, But I've run many an adventure where I've tried to create a certain feel and a certain vibe, and then a dragonborn, a tiefling, and a gnome turns up, and a monk. And so I have to shoehorn into this dark dystopian world, a monastery, underground civilization of gnomes, and somehow include tieflings and dragonborn. And the options D&D gives you, because D&D doesn't focus on the geography of the world, you don't ever. It doesn't ever sort of restrict your selections when you start. And of course, because there's so many, if you as a GM, if you're writing your game world, if you're gonna restrict this stuff, you generally over restrict it. So right, it's humans, or it's humans, elves, or whatever. And I wanted something that was more gave control to the GM. So the GM said, right, we're playing in this part of the world, or you're all from this part of the world and something happens to you there, or so forth. But that, of course, doesn't stop you using the system to run your own game world, but the tools are there for playing in the environment provided, and coming up with believable characters within that environment. All the classic races are there, but I've added new stuff too, so an opportunity for me to be creative. So that's there, rich history of the world, all short stories and snippets and stuff. That's all in there. So yeah, I mean that's kind of where I was coming from with why I wanted to make this game, because old edition games fired a spark of imagination, but when we look at them now, they're missing so much stuff. But the new editions, even 5th edition, that tries to hark back to the old stuff, that tries to give you the feel of first again and stuff. There's no role-playing game that's ever really hit the nail on the head. And then of course you've got the alternative systems like Fate, which are purely storytelling and don't have any combat kind of mechanic per se. They've got bits and whatever, but all these things are fine. But I have got experience in the field of fighting with spears and swords and axes and stuff, and I wanted to create a game that represented my understanding of this stuff, and I think I've achieved that. But in closing, I'm just going to give one last little hint about the game. There are no dice. I'm using cards. Anyway, that's it for now. New video out Monday. Becky ruins shields. I hope you enjoy it. Bye for now.